again, we are headed towards the drone ship on a GTO mission, so we don't get the boost back burn. We have a re-entry burn, but it's a bit shorter than what we're getting on some of our low Earth orbit missions. And we do manage to get a single engine landing burn, at least that's the attempt for this one, which means that we'll be able to have a longer control and longer descent, which is nicer because it's less forces on the rocket in that final descent. It can compensate for larger wind speeds, which is also pretty nice. So fingers crossed that's happening soon. Now, if you're interested in the math behind what's going on there in terms of the fuel and the speed, you can look up the Tsiolkovsky rocket equation, which explains a lot about how those two are related.
We're at T plus 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Things continue to go well for Falcon 9 carrying JCSAT-16 spacecraft into the low Earth orbit parking orbit. Looking at the upper stage engine, we've just heard the call out. Stage 1 entry burn has begun. This burn will last about 23 seconds. Let's listen for the completion of the burn.
Stage 1 entry shutdown.
And we've had shutdown of the first stage engine. That burn of 3 Merlin 1D restartable engines begins to slow down the first stage so that we can land on the drone ship out in the Atlantic Ocean. Meanwhile, the second stage continues to power and orbit. We're heading due east for that initial parking orbit. You can see the Merlin vacuum engine nozzle glowing white-red on the screen. That's normal. That's what we expect to see. Trajectory looks good. Power looks good. We're on course. Everything continues to go well at T plus 7.5 minutes. So let's turn it over to the team on the floor as we get ready for the landing burn of the first stage.
So as you've just seen, we have a lot of good stuff going on so far. Successful separation of our first and second stage. Second stage is carrying JCSAT-16 all the way out to geostationary transfer orbit. Right now we're waiting for the third and final burn to begin, which of course is the landing burn.
So the landing burn is going to occur, and we actually should be able to see it as from the video that's currently on deck of the drone ship. Now this video hasn't historically been the most reliable. We hope to bring you as high quality video as possible, but there's no Wi-Fi out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We are relying on a satellite link that is susceptible to the vibrations of the landing burn itself.
It's true. So when the rocket descends onto the drone ship, it starts to shake, and the satellite that's pointing up to communicate, or the satellite dish that's pointing up, we're just getting word that the landing burn's beginning. Focus your attention and we'll see if we can see it.
It looks like we could see the exhaust gases just in the top of the frame.
It seems as though things have frozen, which, like we said, this speed, there's no Wi-Fi out in the Atlantic Ocean yet. So we can't bring you a status update, unfortunately. We would love to know as much as you.
We actually, back to the main mission briefly, we did just get a confirmation of a good orbit from the second stage. It's as excited as we all are to figure out what happened to that first stage. The primary mission today is to bring JCSAT-16 into geostationary orbit, and we're actually doing great on that front with our confirmation of good orbit.
So that good orbit is the initial stage. It's that initial low Earth orbit section before the second stage begins a second burn to turn that orbit from a circular...
That looks right, X marks the spot right in the center of the drone ship. It's always great to see one of our boosters come back down to the surface of the Earth. Hopefully we'll get a chance to take a look at that thing and hopefully get it flying sometime soon.